Okay, well, like I said, I haven't been discussing this or making videos about this because everything was changing hourly, daily. Um, they finally went and issued over the weekend a stay-at-home order for the whole state of North Carolina. Because the way it started out last week, it was just the major cities and the counties they were in, but then the governor just decided the whole state to stay-at-home order. And I'll go over what's closing in a minute. But first, I'd like to take the time. I know several people are out there following these videos I'm making, and I'd like to thank you. Thank you for your input. Thank you for posting what's going on in your country. There's a couple people from different countries that post that. Um, and like I said, put your comments up regardless. It helps people communicate and understand what's going on. I've heard comments and situations from people all over the United States, Europe, Canada, So I'd like to thank you for doing that. And, I got with this, I have about 1,000 people that follow this type of just talking about this world crisis. And when you put something sensational like the video I made, gun buying panic, okay, I got 25,000 views or 28,000 views, okay, and people just look at stupid stuff, sensationalism. That's kind of not what I'm trying to do here, and that's where I'll go into that too. But all the people that have been watching, putting in their comments, sending me emails, I'd like to thank all of you. Okay? Alright, so now back to the video. What happened now is we have that stay-at-home order, which, see, they're using terms in that. This is another thing I don't like. Basically, it's kind of martial law to a degree, but it isn't martial law like we think during a riot or like a severe natural disaster, like I think Hurricane Katrina. A lot of people are referencing that or going back to that, where they bring armed forces in and take control of a disaster area. Okay, it's kind of not like that. It's this bizarre gray, like everything in the modern world and like everything in our modern society. There is no cut and dry thing here. That's why they use these weird ass terms like stay-at-home order, which basically you're not supposed to leave your house, okay? And then there's this whole stupid list of you can go exercise, you can go visit a sick relative, you can go to the pharmacy, you can go buy food, and you can do all this other stuff. There's a whole list of what to do, but you can't have more than 10 people in a group, and you're supposed to keep 6 foot away from everybody and all this other weird crap. And of course, it's mandatory. All right, so now the big question is, how do they enforce it? They're shutting the whole country down. I believe the whole United States and most of Europe and the rest of the world is under this. Enforcement. See, now it's Tuesday morning. It started Monday, and people are calling 911 to ask what should I do or what are the rules, and they're also calling to turn in people. I seen a group of more than 10 people, and they're calling 911 and want the police to come there and stop it. Well, they flooded the 911 switchboard so people like having a heart attack or an actual life and death emergency can't get through. Okay, again, geniuses with this crap. So they tell you to go to they have a pandemic hotline or something at the sheriff's department. You can call that to turn in your neighbors and stuff. So they got something for it, a specific phone line for you to rat out your other fellow citizens. So that was the first thing. So and basically, all businesses are supposed to be shut at 5, which are essential. And now we get into this, what's essential? Okay, I can see pharmacies, grocery stores, All the dentists and doctors' offices, I think, are closed. You know, it's very confusing, very troubling. The government was not prepared to do this or handle how the people are going to respond to it, basically. So we're under this stay-at-home order, which to me really doesn't bother me. I'm going to have to go down to the gas station and get something, the post office, and then I'll go check on my riding lawnmower that I have in the shop for repairs. So I probably won't be violating anything or, get arrested. But now, they said, how do you enforce it? Are the police going around looking for people traveling after 5 o'clock or asking you what you're doing? This is where it's there's no way to enforce this. Okay? I guess if you ride the public bus, the driver's going to ask you where you're going and why you're getting on the bus. And they already had a thing on the news, don't get offended. So again, something like this affects people who live in the inner city and don't have a car. It makes their life even more difficult. Okay? So all of this will impact people in different ways. Another strange thing, like I said, so stores are open, so you can go get groceries. They didn't close, in this state, the ABC stores, which are controlled by the government. Okay, they're not private stores that sell hard liquor. You got to go to a government ABC store in North Carolina. They're open. Okay, so you can buy beer and you can buy liquor. That's not been restricted. But that thing, non-essential, they're closing all gun shops and pawn shops. Which there are a few pawn shops that do not have like a gun counter. I've seen one or two of them that don't handle firearms, but a vast majority of them, basically they're firearms dealers because people bring guns in to pawn. So this is where you get this weird political backdoor kind of gun control thing. They're closing pawn shops, but most of the pawn shops I've ever been in, it's like whatever, Monday there's a line, they're all making a payment on the loan they got to keep their stereo or jewelry from being, gone. So that kind of hurts that business too. And again, it's like anyone says, where do you find pawn shops? They're spread out everywhere, but they're heavily concentrated in low-income areas. So all of this stuff is really, like I said, it depends how you live in your lifestyle. Some of these restrictions really are impeding people. Where it got to me was last week I went to the bank, the local bank here. Of course, where I live, it's a 15-minute drive to anything. Depends which town I go to. And I go to Randleman, and that's a 15-minute drive away. And my barber's there. Both of the banks I use have branches there. And I generally go there. I can go to Greensboro, which is about 20 minutes away, and that's a larger city. Well, the one branch, I like it, 15-minute drive, I get down there. So I go to do some banking business. I go up through the drive-through, and the lobbies are closed, and the sign said that if you need to go in and talk to somebody for either financial counseling or whatever, or to get a loan, fill out an application for a loan, you would call them, make an appointment, and they would let you in at the appointed time to go do your business in one of the offices there, fill out forms and papers. But they had the drive-through open, so all your other normal stuff, like you just go up to a teller, you can do through the drive-through. So I go to the drive-through, do my business, sitting there, and then when the kid gives me my receipt, he says, "Well, sir, do you know that it was Friday?" He goes, "After 5 o'clock today, this branch will be closed totally." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "The ATM will work and be available out in the parking lot." So you got the ATM. But he goes, "The branch is closed. If you need to go and do your banking business through a drive-through window, because you can make deposits and stuff with an ATM. I've never done it, but an ATM, you basically could handle most of your basic banking business. He goes, the drive-through window will be closed, there will be nobody in the building starting Monday. He goes, this branch is closed. And this is Wells Fargo, which is a pretty good sized bank, it's all over the place. He goes, if you need to go to a drive-through, or like talk to somebody or something through the drive-through window, and you want to be with a teller other than the ATM, you're going to have to go, it'd be 25 minutes down to the next city, Asheboro. I'd have to drive down to Asheboro, and there's one branch down there that'll have a drive-through window, but that branch I go to in Randleman is closed. Okay? And it kind of impedes things, but it kind of hit me funny. There are people that don't have bank accounts, okay, for whatever reason, and they get paid with just a regular check. I remember that. There was a handful of people that don't have, because most places do direct deposit, okay, when you get paid. But there are some small businesses that do not offer that or do that for them. I've worked for one or two. You got a check and you had to go to the bank and cash the damn thing Friday afternoon. Okay? Small businesses are like that, and there are a lot of them around, depending on how people are paid. A lot of these guys, they're contractors. I was talking to several of them. They have these small companies that do home repairs or improvements. They probably get paid with checks. All right. So this is kind of just with this whole stay-at-home thing is kind of weird. So there are restrictions. They're not horrible. You're not supposed to be on the street or run around unless it's absolutely necessary. You're supposed to be in your home. You can go out and exercise and walk around. And again, there's no way to enforce this. There's no way to stop people. But I guess they said on the news, if you do go aggravate the cops during this, and they tell you, go home or don't gather, and if you give them a hard time, I guess class 2 misdemeanor, which means you got to pay $1,000. Some people say it's $1,000, some $2,000. Guy down in Texas is ranting and raving saying it's $5,000 if you're caught, But there isn't roadblocks. There isn't an overwhelming police presence. I mean, they're around like they always are, sheriff, city police and that. At least where I live. I don't know, Greensboro's the largest city. I don't know if they're changing their patrol tactics or what they're doing, but where I live, it's the same as usual. Like I said, there's no barricades and roadblocks or nothing like that, or checkpoints asking you where to go. I don't ride public transit in a large city, so I guess I ain't gonna get that. One thing is, they can run your plates and get your address where you live. And I have heard some people drove up from Charlotte and they stopped them right outside of Greensboro, which is about a 2-hour drive, and asked them what were they doing, and they just said we're out for a drive, and they kind of didn't like that, so said they violated the, but I don't know if there's more to it. It just could have been a rumor. What I do know is if you have New York State license plates, that's been on the news, you ain't going into Connecticut or a bunch of other states, and if you drive down to Florida and they get you on one of the main roads, you're going into 14-day quarantine. So that kind of has happened in certain circumstances. Where I live, I don't see that, okay, at all. It's pretty quiet here. That's why I like living here, all right, normally. Not too much excitement. So now I got to sit and think of how this affects. I could go on for hours talking about all the different facets of this and how it affects the economy, our society, and all this other stuff, but I'm not. But right now we're at a stay-at-home order, and really, I really don't go anywhere past 7, 8 o'clock at night anyway, on a normal given day. So it's not going to curtail me in my lifestyle. Okay, I'm not 20 years old and going out night clubbing and all the other stuff, you know. And me and the wife don't really eat out that much, so that hasn't affected us. But it is kind of weird that they've shut banks down and this and that, and I guess we'll have to wait and see. But so far, you know, they do have these restrictions. There's no way to enforce them. There is no overwhelming military police state type presence where roadblocks, checkpoints, and restricting movement yet. So we'll have to see how it goes, but that's it for now. I'm going to try to get caught up and make some more videos about antique guns and that. Keep my subscriber base from, you know, not tuning me out forever. But once again, thank you for watching. Please put your input down there, even if you're just talking about what it's like where you live. Okay, it's appreciated and it helps. So thank you.